Welcome back to the BodyMaitre Podcast, a space where we explore the multidimensional consciousness within your four-body system, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, and how each influences your reality, your relationships, and your abundance. In the previous episode, we talked about poverty consciousness, what it truly means beyond financial lack, and we explored the first type, the poor in spirit, which is the disconnection from one's divine light and higher self. In this episode, we continue our exploration of this series with the second type, the poor in integrity. What is poverty in integrity? Integrity is one of the foundational energies of abundance. It is the alignment between your thoughts, words, actions, and soul truth. When we live in integrity, our energy field is coherent. What we say, think, and do are in harmony with our higher values. This alignment creates trust, not only from others, but also from the universe itself. However, when integrity is broken, the energy of fragmentation begins. We start leaking power through inconsistency, dishonesty, and avoidance of responsibility. This energetic leakage is what we call poverty consciousness in integrity. From a psychological perspective, it's the pattern of self-betrayal, manipulation, or avoidance of accountability. From a spiritual perspective, it's a disconnection between the ego self and the soul's moral compass. Without integrity, our consciousness cannot hold abundance, because abundance is built upon trust, truth, and transparency. Why integrity matters for abundance and opportunities. Integrity is the frequency that magnetizes trust and long-term success. When you're aligned with truth, people feel safe around you. The universe, too, mirrors that coherence back by aligning you with opportunities, synchronicities, and divine flow. But when someone lacks integrity, when they constantly lie, break promises, or say one thing and do another, they create energetic debt. They lose credit in the spiritual bank of the universe. Such individuals may appear clever for a time, manipulating outcomes to their advantage, but eventually the frequency of dishonesty repels support. Relationships collapse, opportunities vanish, and they find themselves isolated because no one, seen or unseen, can rely on them anymore. In many ways, those who are poor in integrity are poorer than those with no money, because wealth can always be rebuilt. But broken trust is far harder to restore. I've asked Spirit, what are the common frequencies, energies, and subconscious programs that create poverty in integrity? Here's what was revealed through the BodyMaitre 4-body research. Mental body, the prostitute archetype. This may sound intense, but in archetypal psychology, the prostitute archetype isn't about literal prostitution. It represents the willingness to sell your integrity, truth, or values for personal gain or safety. Psychologically, this appears as someone who compromises their morals just to survive, please others, or gain approval. Spiritually, it's when the soul trades authenticity for comfort, choosing to silence its truth to avoid loss or rejection. When the prostitute archetype dominates the mental body, the person's decision-making process becomes transactional rather than truthful. They measure everything by, what do I get out of this, instead of what's aligned with my highest self. This mindset creates inner fragmentation, and once again, the flow of abundance and grace begins to dry up. Physical body, being unloved, criticism, resentment. At the physical body level, we found a chain of energetic programming, being unloved, leading to criticism, and then resentment. This is often the early wound that triggers integrity poverty. When someone feels unloved or unseen as a child, they start believing that love must be earned, not naturally received. So they begin overperforming, pretending, or lying just to gain acceptance. Over time, this creates self-resentment. They criticize themselves for not being good enough, and that inner criticism projects outward as judgment toward others. Spiritually, this creates a disconnect between heart and truth, because one cannot embody truth when the heart is armored with bitterness, mental body, deviousness, programming. Another strong frequency revealed was deviousness, a multidimensional programming that distorts one's mental clarity and integrity. This programming carries traits such as being cunning, deceitful, treacherous, or calculating. It makes the person operate from hidden motives, manipulating, plotting, or scheming to achieve an outcome without transparency. Psychologically, this comes from deep mistrust, the belief that if I don't control the situation, I'll be betrayed. Spiritually, it's the absence of surrender to divine order, a reliance on trickery instead of faith. Deviousness energy creates dense karmic loops. Every manipulative act reinforces the belief that the world is unsafe, which pushes the soul further into isolation and darkness. It's an endless cycle. Deceit breeds fear, fear breeds control, and control erodes integrity. When these multidimensional layers align in disharmony, the prostitute archetype, the unloved to resentment chain, and deviousness programming, a soul becomes spiritually poor in integrity. Let's see how they interlock. The prostitute archetype sells truth for short-term comfort. The physical wound of being unloved creates inner emptiness and resentment, fueling the need to manipulate for validation. The deviousness programming then reinforces this pattern by teaching the mind to survive through deceit and control. Together, these create an energetic field where the soul cannot trust itself, and thus cannot attract trust from others or from the universe. This is what spiritual poverty in integrity looks like, a state where the light of truth is replaced by the shadow of deception. It's not just about moral failure, it's about energetic disalignment between the soul's truth and human behavior. When a person lives in this vibration, abundance avoids them because the universe only flows where truth resides. Integrity is the bridge between the soul and the universe. Without it, our manifestations collapse, our relationships weaken, and our abundance fades. To restore integrity abundance, we must begin by reclaiming self-trust. Start speaking truth to yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. Keep promises to your soul, even the small ones. And most importantly, choose alignment over approval. When you live in integrity, the universe trusts you again. It knows your word is your vibration, and your vibration becomes your creation. In the next episode, we'll explore another layer of poverty consciousness, the poor in mindset, and how being an energy vampires, draining others' energy and drags others down too. Until then, stay aligned, stay truthful, and stay connected with your divine integrity. Thank you for listening to the BodyMaitre Podcast. If this episode resonates, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more sharing on the multidimensional consciousness of abundance and spiritual mastery. See you in the next episode, The Poor in Mindset.